In Wyoming, facility stewardship isn't a slogan, it's a promise. Across 48 school districts, the state construction department carries the responsibility of protecting more than $5 billion in educational facilities for generations to come.
Maintenance of our buildings is primary for the state of Wyoming, not just the new construction, but really the hundreds of buildings that we have in the state of Wyoming. How do we take care of those? How do we maximize the life expectancy of those buildings? So that's really what our department does.
That commitment drives every decision, because every building tells a story about the state's values. There was a time when that stewardship was slowed by paper and process.
All contracts, payment applications, everything flowed through certified mail. Nothing was digital. Nobody really knew where any of this data was at any point in time, as it had to bounce around to multiple people within the state.
Decisions meant guesswork, and it was hard to show the impact of every dollar spent. In 2011, the construction department turned that challenge into an opportunity. They implemented Facility Force, beginning with simple project payments, then realizing it could become something much greater.
We started with contracts and payment applications on capital construction appropriations made by the legislature. The users were so impressed with how quickly contracts were getting approved, signed, how quickly the information flowed from them to us as well as us to them. We made the decision to incorporate major maintenance in. So using the work order system, the major maintenance projects that have to be approved by school districts' project managers in our office, we streamlined that into a request system where they electronically submit those requests.
Well, the legislature's always been focused, as you mentioned, on capacity. And so we do go out and as part of our planning process, part of this data process that we have, again, we have the footprint of every school building and what every room is being used for within a building. We assess what the capacity is in those buildings. So we have certain metrics that we work with so many square foot per student, and we look at the size of the classroom, break that down. Again, it may be we need to add, rather than build a brand new school, maybe we're going to add an addition to that. Maybe there's something that we can modify within the building itself, and we work with the districts on that, on maybe how they're structuring their teaching and things of that nature.
With Facility Force's assessment and strategic planning capabilities, Wyoming can now see in data what stewardship really looks like.
I think the data management and how we use that to tie back into the current condition of our buildings and forecasting ahead into the future for the workload that's going to need to be done is very important.
One of the things that's really helped these past few years in working with the director and the agency, we have improved those systems greatly. And so now we feel very confident in knowing when someone asks a question out on the floor, for example, what's going to happen 10 years from now? What are we looking at 10 years down the road? We can literally hone in and tell them, these are the districts that are going to be impacted because we know that they have buildings that are going to need our help.
Just to give you an example of how quickly we can produce information, I was able to pull down all of the details out of our system related to that specific appropriation that was made, that was designed for all 48 Wyoming school districts. And within about a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, I had a data example sent over to Dell testifying at the Joint Appropriations Committee. They were able to see that $5 million appropriation, what school districts had spent it, what school districts had not, where it was spent, and in what buildings within about a matter of 10 minutes.
Now, every decision, from roof repairs to new construction, is guided by trusted data and shared accountability. The results are powerful. With Facility Force, Wyoming has turned information into impact, strategically extending the life of buildings to make the most of public funding.
So we hired some consultants to come out and help us with that journey, and what it really pointed out was we needed to increase the major maintenance funding, and I'm proud to say this last year your committee recommended a substantial, a 25% increase in the major maintenance funding, and it passed through the House and the Senate, so it's now statute, it's now law. The early studies that we did, I think in 2016, 17, indicated that at the funding that we had for major maintenance at the time, we were only expecting anywhere from 38 to 40 years life expectancy out of our buildings.
Yeah, that was a real eye-opener back then.
It was.
Especially for the select committee to say, wait a minute, our buildings are only going to last 50 years.
Now what we're trying to forecast is a 67 to 75 year life of our buildings.
That dedication to sustainability and transparency earned the Wyoming State Construction Department the 2025 Facility Force Achievement Award, honoring its leadership in data-driven stewardship of public school facilities.
We've actually had a couple of school districts decide at their level that they were going to use our database, our set of reports to maintain their property information, their land. So they're actually they're not preparing their own reports anymore. They are using our reports for the information that we have gathered, that we keep organized. They're using them internally for decisions that they're making within their school district. They didn't have to go to the time and cost to assemble all this information. We've already taken care of it. It's transparent.
Because when governments lead with data and vision, stewardship becomes a legacy.